What's good, Arian? We back with another one, man. Before I even kick anything off, I just want to say thank you. To anyone that's even watching this right now, to those that watched the previous ones, thank you. Y'all don't understand how much it means to just like freely talk and then have people care to listen, even if it's for a minute. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate that, man. Videos are out. This is episode 2. And y'all know, in episode 2, I can't lie, I went a bit crazy. I did go a little bit crazy in episode 1. My goal was like 10 minutes max, and I just went off. But I'm gonna chill out this episode. I don't think we're gonna go anywhere near. We may not even hit 10 minutes, I'm not sure. I don't want to lie to you guys again, but it's definitely gonna be a lot shorter than the first episode. Also, as well, I got the camera pointed directly at me at this time. I just want to test the angle as well, see how it works out. We're in the beginning, bro. There's a lot that's going to be up and down. I'd love to hear suggestions on which is better between the side angle and the front angle. I prefer this because it means I have all the space. I'd love to have like posters and stuff eventually. But the reason I went with the side angle the first time was just because the natural lighting that came was a lot better. But so our topics, man. So I actually had 2 topics, for this one, but we'll see if we get to the second one. But the topic that I had, it actually came from an episode of Shits and Gigs, which is a podcast I like to watch. I think I mentioned that already. But they were talking about this person who went through something. Now I'm gonna make it a bit more abstract, just so we're running away from that scenario, but still keeping the same instant points. And it's just asking, what makes you a bad, do your thoughts make you a bad person? Yeah. Do your thoughts make you a bad person, right? And the reason I ask is because certain bad actions are bad, but it's like, if you think about those actions, are you still bad? Like, for example, if you go and kill someone, you are not a good person. Obviously, we're gonna take away the nuances, self-defense, alles, but we're just talking about daylight murder. If you murder someone, it's fair to say you're not a good person, right? I don't know. Maybe that's judgmental. Again, taking away nuances. However, let's say every day of your life you think about wanting to kill this person. You want to kill someone every single day. You're like, brother, I just want to put a knife through his chest, but you never actually do the action. Are you bad or just as bad, or are you not as bad at all? Obviously, my initial answer to that is you are not as bad, clearly, right? But are you still bad? I would say the answer is no. Why? Because you actually didn't do anything bad. Yes, you thought bad, but I have this belief that good people are only good because they don't act on their bad, or they act on their good more than their bad. So in my logic, a good person isn't a person that doesn't have bad traits. It's just a person who never acts on the bad traits that they have. You know what I mean? And now, using murder was a pretty obvious one. But as much as I say obvious, I've heard people come with counter arguments saying the thoughts of evil is just as bad as the evil itself. Crazy. I've generally heard people say that. I don't agree with it at all, but I'd love to know what other people think as well. Am I in the minority by not believing that, or am I in the majority? But it brought me to another point as well. Like, for example, right now, so like, it's fair to say it's only once you do the bad things that you are actually bad, right? But if you are just constantly like, let's say I am a fat phobic, homophobic, sexist, racist guy. Like, that's just me. That's who I am. But I never ever show it. Can I still consider myself a good person? Because I walk out the door, I see a fat person, I hate them. I see I see a gay person, I hate them or something. For like, if every time I see these people, because I am this bad identity, like I'm homophobic, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. If I am that person, but I never ever show it. So in my head, I see the man and I just hate them with all my heart. I hate them for no reason. I just hate them, but I never act on it because I'm never being disrespectful, never being rude, etc., etc. Am I being a bad person, or am I being a good person, or am I being neutral? I mean, the answer without the knowledge of my head is that I'm a good person, because all you see is a good person. But does that actually make me a good person? I don't know. But my belief is that good people are those that can fake it until death, right? I feel like that's a fair assumption. I don't know, but maybe in order to be good, you need to morally feel good as well. And if that's the case, then that's a bit of a flop because it's really hard to change people's stubborn mentalities. Like, yo, now I've tried. So it's like, what does that mean? And then this obviously led me to look up the definition of like a bad person. What is a bad person? I think the definition was something along the lines of someone who harms or makes people feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, you're a bad person if you do bad things to other people. So by that definition, as long as I do good by everyone, it doesn't matter what I'm thinking. But that feels a bit. It doesn't feel right. It feels like in order to be good, you generally have to think good. But then again, what level of control do we have of our thoughts? Like, the reason this came into conversation is because I'm like to this person who hates like big people or something, who like I'm trying to think, yeah. I'm not sure, obviously not trying to justify their actions, but it's like their thoughts come from somewhere, and it's very hard to get rid of bad thoughts, right? So how long, like, if they're genuinely trying to become a good person and they're trying to get rid of these bad thoughts that they're having, at what point do we say that they're now good? And because the thoughts, especially if you have negative traits, the thoughts will, or the traits will never completely disappear. They'll just simmer down, or they'll quiet, or they'll get discreet, or you can hide them in a box. But at the end of the day, it's there. So, and it's like, as long as it's there, can you still call yourself good? Are you bad? I don't know. And that was just something interesting that was going on in my head. It was just this idea of like, when do we call the line between a good person and a bad person? And the thing is, there's no real definition of it, right? Like, we don't have a societal memo to say, brother, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. We do have that. That's the law, I guess. But it's like, I'm not even talking about the law, because sometimes, like, when it comes to the law, I trust the law in all it does in terms of its basic things. Thou shalt not kill, you shouldn't kill, fair enough. I just recited the testament. But it's the law, you shouldn't murder. But even in the law, it doesn't cater for nuances. So that's why sometimes I'm a bit reluctant to believe in the law. But I still respect it. Don't get it twisted. But in terms of just society in general, like, there's certain things that are deemed as good or bad that aren't good or bad. I want to know what people deem as morally right. If you are morally doing the correct actions, but you don't believe in them at all, are you still a morally good person? That's what I should have led with, fam. That's basically the question I want to know. Like, to anyone that stayed this time and actually has an answer or a thought, I would love to hear it. I'd love to know, because in my opinion, I do believe as long as you do the action, you're good. But that also doesn't feel valid. Like, it doesn't feel like that should be enough. Like, there's no way an evil person should be deemed good just because they do good. You know what I mean? Like, surely you need to believe that, they need to believe in the goodness they're doing in order for them to be good, right? Like, if I had two world leaders, one of them told me, hey, like, look, I want to kill and destroy the world, but I'm going to show face and be good always, versus a person that's like, they genuinely believe in good, obviously I'm going to choose that person. But it's like, why? Technically, if you believe that you only need to do good, then they're the same, right? But they're not. And that's the little ambiance that I enjoy talking about, and I enjoy thinking about as well. That's literally gonna be it for this episode, dog. I'm not even gonna go into the second topic because, yeah, no, I just want to chill on this one. It's the second one. I won't get too crazy on it, you dig? But no, I'm definitely keen. I'm gonna be posting more. The goal is to post weekly. Let's see how that goes. But yeah. Not a short little episode, nothing to kill anybody, yeah? Something that's actually listenable. Yeah, so that's me, man. Again, thank you so much for everyone. And yeah, hope everyone has an awesome week.